We are live. You're watching the Merged Marketing Podcast. You're listening to the Merged Marketing Podcast. I'm Jason Hunt, and today I'm with James Elliott.
Hey.
James helps business leaders and business owners all over the world stand out, unleash their potential, successfully do what they love, help people, and make great money. He teaches people the tools, strategies, and mindsets that the most successful people in the world use. James, welcome to the show.
Cheers. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So the title for this episode is Unleash Your Potential and Grow Your Business. Very vague topic, but we're going to dive into the weeds of this today with James, who has a ton of experience in getting people to maximize their potential. So my first question, James, is how did you get into the business of helping business leaders stand out?
It's been quite a journey, actually. Years ago, started my career at IBM, Lenovo, Novell, and just doing different sales and communications roles. Working with business partners, teaching business partners how to talk to people, how to be influential, and yes, how to sell our stuff. But the biggest thing was teaching them how to actually communicate and sell and have authority and credibility and authenticity with others. So. That was back then, and just through my own journey, through coaching, through personal development, and I've learned and echoed a lot of Jim Rohn's thoughts on, if you want to make a living, work on your business. If you want to, thrive and really grow, then work on yourself as well, as much as you work on your business. And I've heard many, many mentors over the years say that. So during the height of my career, I got laid off due to corporate downsizing and, someone wanting to make the numbers, fit better and stuff. So I won President's Club in the same week for high performance that I got laid off, and it was just mind boggling. They're like, congratulations, and you got. So it was quite entertaining, but it was what I've been wishing for. I no longer wanted to work in a corporate environment. I like going back into corporate environments and speaking. But one of my favorite things to do is working with business owners, business leaders, entrepreneurs, to really, again, be influential, to go out there and get rid of the imposter syndrome or the worry, the fear, the self-doubt, and just go out there and take action, because you're going to learn no matter what you do. Whether something works or not, you're going to learn, versus sitting on the fence or sitting and doing nothing. You actually fail by default. People are so willing to fail and fall, but you do fail by default because you don't get what you want. Nothing happens for you. So, and dealing with a lot of that myself in my younger years as well, people pleasing, being likable, and now understanding what really being, credible, influential, being a real leader is. It's definitely not being too nice or trying to be likable. That's for sure. I can share more on that later, but it was an amazing transition. Getting laid off was the best kick in the butt I've ever got from life, and just took a passion of mine helping people, talking to people, and ever since I got into coaching, and then thought I'd really like to do this. So after I got laid off, I thought let me open my business. This is what I'd love to do, and started coaching first, and then teaching and training people these tools, because I see how much it helps entrepreneurs and business leaders.
Let's dive into that just for a sec. So you decided, you got laid off from the corporate world, super confused. And now you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to get into coaching people how to be better business leaders. And what got you into that direction? What led you down that path?
I guess I've had 7 successful businesses through my life. I've been a really, other than my corporate days, and I've still had my own businesses on the side all through at IBM and Novell. I launched a business when I was 11. I had a lawn care business, and then I had a snow removal business out in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, Canada, which is this like the snow. Snow is like taller than me and taller than I was when I was a kid, like 3 times my size. I was like pushing a snowblower. The handlebars were up here. I was down here pushing the snowblower. But again, I give my customers a bill, and they'd always give me tips. It was amazing. And just being an entrepreneur all my life, starting businesses, doing things I loved, and turning it into a business was something I got really good at and very passionate about. And as I started my own businesses, a lot of other people were asking, well, how did you do this? And what are the success secrets? And could you teach me? And can I pay you? I'm like, you're going to pay me to sure. and it just evolved into teaching and training, leaders, whoever they are, leaders and great mentors, the tools rather to create their success and grow their business. And yes, work on your business and also work on yourself just as much, if not more, because you know how to run your business. You know how to do your thing, whether you're a plumber or marketer or coach or leader or financial advisor or whatever it is you do, you know how to do that. The real things are our blocks. And like I said earlier, even Jim Rohn, one of his famous quotes, big leader to entrepreneurs and people all over the world. And actually he taught Tony Robbins. So for those of you who know who Tony Robbins is, Jim Rohn's taught Tony Robbins a lot of what he knows. So anyways, it's work on your business if you want to thrive. Otherwise, work on your business if you want to make a living. Work on yourself if you want to thrive. So that's kind of what got me into that, helping more and more people. And eventually I got certified to teach a lot of these tools that I had learned and used to coach. And I thought, this is a way better way for me to teach and to have a bigger ripple effect in the world and a bigger impact by teaching all these tools to these amazing leaders, amazing business people. And that makes my purpose just huge and far reaching.
Definitely sounds a lot more rewarding than plowing snow. So that's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It was good exercise though.
Oh, 100%. So right now, fast forward to 2021, been a crazy year for all business owners, no matter what industry you're in. It's been a crazy year, no matter whether it's been good or bad. But what are some of those characteristics that make for a great leader in a company in 2021?
So I think it's a couple of things actually. Focus on people and your relationships versus focusing on your thing, right? Because we all have our thing, whether it's coaching or marketing or bubblegum sales or whatever, real estate, whatever it is, have IBM or whatever. We all have our thing. So for what I found, focusing on people, focusing on creating strong relationships or maybe reviving relationships that have fallen. And really giving, so that's the first thing, really focusing on having great relationships. And number two is focusing on just giving tons of value. How can I give tons of value? How can I help, even if this person will never do business with me? And it does have a reciprocating effect because people, when you help people, they usually want to do something nice back for you and help you too. So they'll probably refer you or promote you or whatever. So those are the two biggest things I found. The third is work on yourself. Some sort of personal development. I personally love the tools I teach, things like NLP, hypnosis, timeline therapy, and even a powerful process I developed called the Power Process for things like self-doubt, worry, fear, anxiety, and fearing things, anything that that's affecting you in the moment and that's limiting you. Overanalyzing things, again, like I said, the worry, the doubt, worry of failure, fear of whatever, looking bad, any of that stuff, just the tools to help you get out of that so you can be at your best. I mean, even Tony Robbins says the one thing if you master emotional state management, so you can be on when you need to be on, even if you don't feel like it or don't want to be on, but you need to be mastering that. Tony says is one of the biggest determinants of your success. So those are three of the thoughts: relationships, personal development, and giving value versus, ramming our product or service down people's throats. It's like, how can I help? What do you need? How can I refer, connect, educate, teach, help otherwise? And you and I were talking about that before we came on. It's just giving people value so that they know you, they like you, they trust you. And then, of course, when it comes to needing your service, of course they're going to do business. They're not going to run and look for someone random down the street. They're going to look for someone that, let's say it's, for you with digital marketing, or myself with leadership training or leadership certifications, coach or NLP certifications, whatever it is. If you've given tons of value and they're like, why would I look elsewhere? Why would I go to someone that's lower, that charges less because they may not be as good or I don't want to take a risk. People pay you more and do business with you when you focus on those three things. So that's.
Know, like, and trust is so important, especially this year where everybody has conformed to digital. Everybody's online and seeing their news feed just cluttered with junk and people trying to sell them things. And it's like people are sourcing out those people they know, like, and trust. And that's why you're right. I think James brings up a great point, and putting people and focusing on people as one of those three pillars, I think is super important. Now, talking about some of those, a lot of fears and pitfalls have emerged in the last year, especially for business owners and entrepreneurs, and maybe you can list a couple of those those main fears and pitfalls, and how can business owners and entrepreneurs and business leaders overcome them?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been interesting, as I'm sure you've seen it, everyone's seen it too. The people who were willing or daring enough to take risk and to pivot, to take action, to do something different, I think they came out of, and they're coming out of COVID and the whole crazy year or two thriving. It's going to be good for them, or in fact, better for them and me as well. A lot of cool stuff now I'm doing online, helping people all over the world. I can work from the cottage now. It just all the cool stuff that's been happening. And of course, people that have put their heads in the sand and bless their hearts, of course, but that have refused to pivot or waiting things to go back to the old ways, the old days. It's not going to happen. People love being able to do things the new way. Now, yes, I obviously miss people and miss in person. I love doing that too. However, the world has changed. So I think it's been a really good time for people. So when you can pivot and face your fear, and get out of the self-doubt and just do it anyways. Like I said, you're going to fail anyways, whether you refuse to do anything because you fail by default, or we always have different failures at first before we're successful, right? I mean, nothing is wildly successful usually the first time you do it. So you might as well fail your way to success, as the most successful people in the world have said. You fail your way to success, take action. They've done more and they've failed more than other people have. So that's why they're rich or successful or influential. They've just done it more. So that's the big thing during these times. We need to pivot, shift, grow, try things on, see if something works. And that's why I love the tools that I teach, like NLP, like hypnosis, timeline therapy, power process, because it gets you out of that worry, that fear that, well, what if this happens? Or what if I lose money or time or energy? Well, what if you don't? What if you're successful? What if you win? What if you're successful beyond your wildest dreams? And what if, looking instead at all the things that could go wrong, why don't we focus on all the things that could go right? Why don't we look at and make up, instead of fearing the worst, why don't we expect the best and expect all the great things that can happen? And sure, there's little bumps and failures and challenges on the way. That's life. But would you rather have that and be miserable or broke or unhappy or whatever? Or would you rather have bumps on the road on your way to having an awesome life where you're flexible, you have financial freedom, you can work with who you want, when you want, you can travel? So that's the thing. And that's, I think, the biggest thing right now is to pivot and to take risk and be okay with quote unquote failure, because there really is no failure anyways. There's just growth, there's learning, there's testing, right? When I do Facebook ads, I'm sure you tell this people to test, digital ads, test it all. One thing may not work. A few things may work, or different strokes for different folks. And one thing may not work at all. You tweak it a bit, you improve it. All it is testing. So take action, being okay with risk and failure, I think, is the biggest thing, and never giving up.
Yeah. Not expect the worst, hope for the best. Not expect the worst, hope for the best, but James says expect the best. I love that one. That's a great one. Power process. What is the power process? And is it your own thing?
I took a bunch of tools I loved and squashed them together, put in my own secret sauce, and developed this tool called the power process. And it's something you do. I wouldn't exactly call it meditation, but I guess you could call it meditative or a present state, going to a present state. And instead of worrying about the world and every little thing, you're really focusing on and just paying attention to what's bothering you, stepping back and just observing it and noticing it, versus getting caught up in the worry, the fear, the craziness, the anxiety, the overwhelm. And you're stepping back from that and just observing it, almost like a third party, and just letting it be there. And instead of fearing and worrying and pushing things away, just letting it be there. And you'd be surprised how it almost melts away. And so it's a process to neutralize fear, worry, anxiety, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, negative emotions, you name it. And you can do it in the moment. And you can do it before you have to be on. If you're on, you're like, oh crap, something's coming up. You can do it then. Anytime you're on your own. It's a very powerful and fairly quick process as well to literally neutralize bad feelings, doubt, negative emotions. Again, like I said, imposter syndrome, past failures, things that didn't work out, and neutralize them so that you can take action and be at your best. And overwhelm. I mean, getting yourself out of overwhelm, because when we're overwhelmed, you really can't make a decision. We don't do anything. We shut down.
Yeah, I usually take a walk from my computer. I take my dog for a run, do some physical activity. That's my getaway. But in the case of the power process, it almost sounds like an out of body experience that you're having to try to get to this state of seeing yourself and being like, all this shit that's going on right now really doesn't matter.
That's exactly it. And it's probably not going to, the fear, the worries, it's probably not going to happen anyways. It's both an out of body and in body experience at the same time. It's really neat how it works, because your point, it just step back and it's like, why am I letting this crap run my life? And it's just on a hamster like a wheel. Like, okay, this emotion's here or this feeling's here. Great. Why is it here? Who am I being that causes it? What is it doing here? And let me just look at it and without analyzing it too much, obviously, just sort of stepping back instead of letting these worries or fears or thoughts or emotions or, oh, the little gremlin, you're not good enough, or they're not going to like you, or they're not going to buy from you, or whatever, feeling like we're not worth it, or, not worthy or unworthy or not good enough. All that crap that goes on, it's not our voice anyways. It's society, it's past programming, it's cultural programming, it's all our limiting beliefs and all our crap. It's actually not us anyway. So stepping back and away from that, it will literally change your life. And just being aware and being conscious is a great word of all this crap going on in your brain, versus letting it run your life and letting it dictate, not doing something or doing something, whatever it is, whether it's emotional eating or smoking or binge drinking, binge watching Netflix or YouTube when you should be working, or be on Facebook when you should be taking action or whatever. It gets you out of that craziness and into a powerful place. Hence the power process, into a powerful place where you can take action, you get out of overwhelm, you get clarity and I guess presence and peace on what you need to do. And so you do it and you're successful, and you do it well, so you're successfusful.
I love it. It sounds like a muscle you need to continuously work in eliminating all of that junk that's being thrown at you. And I mean, I personally did this with the news. I stopped watching the news.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was junky. Like, it just did nothing good for me. And when I was done watching the news, I don't remember ever leaving or turning off the TV and being like, well, that was a great half an hour spent.
It feels so good.
The world's such a great place. Oh,
exactly.
At least that fireman rescued a cat in a tree. Yeah.
And to your point, like, I watch different channels, whether it's, YouTube or Gaia channel or positive things on Netflix. And I said the positive things on Netflix because there's a lot of junk too. But instead of the news, you're right. Or looking and picking the news that or certain stations that are more positive, or reporting great things that happened. I don't know, people volunteering or starving people in Africa, or companies building houses, or whatever, people going and lobbying for the rainforest or for something, whatever it is, right? Or new inventions that save the environment. I love learning about that. To your point, I don't watch the news either. It's too doomsday. It's too controlling. I think it's very manipulative, and everyone has their own agenda as well. So it's how can I? And since we're a product of our environment, how do we change our environment, which will help you unleash your potential as well? How do we change our environment, whether it's the people we see and talk to, the people we hang out with, the things we do, the places we go, what we watch, what we learn? Changing your environment is massive, because we are a product of our environment, and our environment will influence us. I mean, if you want to lose weight, you probably shouldn't hang around the bar and drinking wings and fries and pizza and beer, right? You should probably go hang out with people who like walking or hiking or biking or whatever.
But I love wings, fry, and pizza.
Yeah, fair enough. Once in a while, it is fun, But it's like, change that environment and have some boundaries with certain people. Creating boundaries is key.
I don't want to digress too much, but it's funny because I used to love snacking at night. I used to love just crushing some chips, watching a movie. But it was months ago where I took that right out of my diet, took the late night snacking, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to be disciplined and not eat till the moment I'm done dinner until breakfast the next day. And it was amazing. But my point is, to your point, it's like you got to be disciplined with it. You got to be consistent with it, and that's the hardest part, is just being consistent with it, whether you're cutting your binge eating or cutting smoking or whatever it is. It's just about staying disciplined, right? And I'm sure that's a part of the power process.
And it's, it's interesting because it's often as easy as making a decision. People always say, oh, change is hard. No, actually, change. Now, the path can be challenging, but change is easy. Okay, I decide there's never another Twinkie or a cigarette going in my mouth, or never, and there's never another drink going in my, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, or I'm never, whatever, going to sleep all day and not take action, or whatever it is. And deciding the decision there is actually fast and easy. So change doesn't have to take a lot of time. It's actually, I think a limiting belief, or maybe it's our own bullshit protecting us from actually doing what's hard and then challenging. Change can be challenging, but it can also be easy and also be fast. Change can happen in an instant. There's a soundbite for you. Change can happen in an instant. It comes with a decision, with a strong, powerful decision. I mean, all you have to do, like in an example of smoking, as one example, decide there's no more cigarettes going in your mouth. And sure, there's challenges along the way, like anything in life at all, anything. But change can happen in an instant. It's easy. Just decide and commit to it versus, well, I wish I could quit smoking, or I wish I could go to the gym. I wish I could start my own business. I wish I could make more money. Decide and then commit some way versus, because deciding is good, but then nothing happens. The universe doesn't bring it to you. People don't come to you. Decide and then commit by taking action. Spending money or energy or time towards something. That's how you decide and commit, and that's how things happen. So yeah,
we are really like little kids at heart. I've got a few kids. James, you have any kids?
No kids. Okay. Lots of nieces and nephews though. So
okay, then you'll get it, because when you're a kid, at least my kids, when they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, rather than sometimes saying no, don't do that, it's just distracting them. So we need to create our own distractions, right?
That's the thing. Yeah, and exactly. And again, it's you're influenced by your environment. Create an environment that influences you positively, whether it's, again, people, or you don't buy snacks, or you don't hang around with crappy people, or you don't hang out with doomsdayers, you don't watch the news, or whatever it is. Yeah, exactly. Decide, commit, and change your environment. And then get some kind of support system. A friend will kick your butt if you slip, or a mentor, or a coach. You can self-mentor. So that's why I love teaching these tools, because you can self-mentor and self-coach yourself a lot of times too. And you have these tools to A, transform and shift, but B, when you need it, if something comes up. I mean, I use all these tools, power process all the time, NLP all the time. All these tools I use when something happens, something gets in my way, I'm down in the dumps, or something blows up or doesn't work, or I need to be on when I don't feel like being on. Just using the tool. That's why I love these tools, and helping you be on when you need to be. To your point, yeah.
Now, we've kind of skimmed over this one here very briefly, and I want to dive into it because you've mentioned this term a few times in the podcast, and that's NLP. What does it stand for, and what does it mean?
So NLP, it's a weird name. It stands for neurological, linguistic, language processing. So neuro-linguistic processing. And because words have so much power. I mean, our brains obviously have so much power. Our thinking has so much power, either to lift us up or to limit us, depending on our thinking and what we listen to, what we believe, or who we believe. And then linguistics. So language is important. What we say to ourselves, our inner self-talk, we talk positively, or oh, you're not good, or you're so dumb, or this will work, or whatever. Words are powerful. Words are so powerful. So from this moment on, guys, stop talking badly to yourself. Stop being hard on yourself. Stop demotivating yourself, and stop listening to other people or places or things or media or whatever that tell you otherwise that you're awesome. So that's one of the things. It's a mindset shift. It's a shift to looking at people, problems, challenges, things completely differently. And it's an excuse the word, but empowering way to look at everything differently. Or it's a way, and I don't like the word positive thinking, because it's a little willy-nilly, and you can think positive while your life is blowing up and it doesn't do anything for you. But focusing on what you want will, even though shit is blowing up or stuff happens in life, focusing on what you want to achieve, on what you want to have, on what you want to do, and who you want to be, that will get you where you want to be. So again, NLP is a way of modeling success and then creating in yourself, saying, well, this person is successful. What's his secret sauce, and figuring that out, and then basically doing that. It's a way to look at people, problems in life differently. It's a way to communicate and listen like 10 higher levels, because I mean, all we have really is communication and listening to get our value and our message across. And then lastly, it's a trail of techniques to either help yourself or help others dramatically transform and shift and change. And again, remove these blocks, these roadblocks or goal blocks, remove these negative emotions and imposter syndrome or self-doubt or negative emotions or beliefs that, they're not good enough, or they're not worth it, or they're not lovable, or they're not powerful, or they can't, or they're not good enough, or they're not worthy, whatever the limiting belief is. Very powerfully to get rid of those and manage any fear, worry, anxiety that comes up. So it's a really cool, I'll say it, a suite of tools and strategies to literally change your life. I mean, it's to 10x your life or 100x your life. A lot of the most successful people in the world have, captains of industry, leaders, great entrepreneurs, great business people, communicators, salespeople, speakers, governments, leaders of governments have these tools and are trained in NLP. It's life-changing what it can do and allow you to do whatever role you are, whatever you want to do with work or play or relationships and even health. I mean, I used to be 60 pounds heavier. I've kept it off for nearly 20 years because, again, the mindset shift and working on the deeper crap that maybe want to eat and drink and sit on the couch and demotivate me, not want to work out. Now, I love being active. I love eating healthy food. Yes, I snack. I love beer and wings and pizza too, but it's the degree that I eat that and I'm no longer eating it because I'm trying to, or whether it's gambling or smoking or whatever people do to numb the pain or fill the void or distract yourself. It's because I choose to have a beer because I was active and I worked hard today and I ate well today or whatever it is, right? So it's the entire mindset shift. In a nutshell, that's what NLP is.
Yeah, when I was reading up on NLP, and you state that you can potentially increase your income by 100x by this total change in mindset, and I can believe it.
Yeah.
There's a book for me that I read years ago called The One Thing, which really changed the way I look at it. Yeah, absolutely great book, and it just changed the way I look at things and it's easier said than done. But just trying to focus on the one thing that really matters and getting shit done. And that takes practice. And I think it does take, a certain type of mentor like yourself, James, to kind of keep people disciplined. So what is that expectation that somebody would get from you if they were to say, hey, I want to work with James in this whole kind of approach? Because you've said some great stuff here, but in order to, execute on it, I'm going to need some coaching. So maybe you can talk about some of the guidance that you provide.
Yeah. So a lot of the things, one of my favorite things, this is why I don't coach a lot anymore, or I coach the people I teach, because the foundation to changing your life is learning, in my opinion, and I'm living proof, and so are all my graduates. It literally is changing your life, changing your mindset, having a massive, not just personal development transformation, but tools and strategies transformation, approaching situations, people, business, problems, sales, communication differently. And when you do that, your entire life changes. Business gets easier. It gets more fun. Imagine that. Communication gets easier. People seeing your value gets easier. We get out of our own way. Our own intuition increases because, again, we're out of our own way. We're seeing more. We take the blinders off. You can see so much more. I've had people, either halfway through my course or at the end of the course, they've started businesses or started podcasts or gotten married or gotten divorced and stopping things that aren't working for them and starting things that they've always wanted to do, or they've had a realization, oh my God, or a big aha, this is what I got. This is the key to my success. This is what I have to do. Because you get rid of all those mental barriers and the baggage and all the stuff that life or society or media or culture or our parents or society has programmed about why we can't or why you shouldn't, or a good person does this or doesn't do this, or to be a good blank, you have to be blank, and you can't do this or have to do this. And, never mind all the keeping up the Joneses and spending money on crap you don't need or want, and just investing in yourself and the things you want to have and things you want to do, versus buying an overpriced car or overpriced watch that you really don't want to do. Just being authentic, being you. And that is someone people really resonate with. Just being really authentic. And go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, no, you finish your thought there. Did you have anything else to add to that?
Being real, because think about it. There's so much BS online and so many charlatans and people, whether it's Facebook or whatever. Oh, look at my perfect life, my fancy sports car. They can barely pay their mortgage, but they have a fancy new sports car or a new watch or new phone all the time. Or, or the reality TV and all the BS we see about, perfect lives and trying to keep up with the Joneses, when the Joneses are not happy. We're trying to keep up. Yes, you could have a lot of money and be happy, but you can also have a lot of money and a lot of stuff and not be happy. I mean, I've coached some amazing people who were down and out, people who were suicidal, people who are multi-millionaires. I've been blessed to mentor and teach and train leaders, coaches, all kinds, business people, corporate leaders. And it's been amazing that people have been able to mentor. And there's one thing, is be happy now, and then life gets better, versus waiting for something to happen to be happy, for you to get a certain job or a promotion or a business or make a certain amount of money or be with someone or be single or be married or kids or whatever. And just be happy now and be real. People love someone that's real and authentic and doesn't worry what someone else thinks about them, because so many people do. We're all obsessed about looking good and worry what people think about us and doing things just because society says you have to, or our parents or our culture said we have to. Do whatever the hell you want, provided it doesn't hurt anyone. Do whatever the hell you want, and you will naturally be a leader, because people are like, oh my God, look at him or look at her. They do what they want. They march the beat of their own drum. They're real. They say what they think, and obviously there's saying what you think and there's being an ass. So say what you think and be real to people. And my goodness, will people ever resonate with you and work with you and buy from you and it will come to you for your leadership or coaching or product or to work with you or for you, whatever it is. And I guess that's the end of the thought I wanted to finish. Thank you.
Cassidy and Krista there. If you heard that, just grab a little snippet of what James said right there. That make for a great Facebook ad. There you go. So James, that was awesome. This has been awesome. If anybody out there in our audience wants to unlock those chambers in their brain or wants you to go in there and do a clean sweep, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So there's a couple ways. Just unleash your power. My name on my business is Unleash Your Power. So unleashyourpower.com/training. Simply email me, james@unleashyourpower.com. I love talking to people. So 905-717-9481 is a great way. On my YouTube channel, James R. Elliott, Unleash Your Power, you'll find my channel. But again, unleashyourpower.com/training is one of the greatest ways, or even unleashyourpower.com, a great way to connect. If you'd like to know more, like to know what we do, I'd like to run something by me, ask questions. I love connecting with entrepreneurs. And again, I'm living proof of, I always think, how can I help this amazing person? What can I do? Can I connect them with someone, refer them with someone? Do we do business together? Do I do business with them? Right? So it's pretty amazing. I love talking to people. So let's chat. If this is of interest, you want to learn more, talk more, or something I said motivates you, or you don't agree with something I said, let's talk. I love talking with people.
We end every show with the same question, and that is, if you could choose one person, dead or alive, to represent your brand, James R. Elliott, who would it be and why?
That is a good question. Wow. It'd be a toss-up between Nikola Tesla and Einstein. Again, really not worrying what people thought about them. People thought they were crazy, but they did things anyways. They were wildly successful anyways, brilliant minds, and just wanting to make the world better and society better and wanting to help, really. And so it'd be a toss-up between one of the two, honestly, Nikola Tesla or Einstein. That's awesome. And I almost thought there for a second you were going to say Nicolas Cage. We haven't had that one yet. Yeah, not so much. Awesome. James, this has been great. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll be talking to you soon. Sounds like a plan. Pleasure being here. There you go, James R. Elliott. Definitely get in touch with James if you want him to teach you the NLP, or just be there as a coach or a mentor to help you along in your journey. He's there to answer your questions. That was an awesome episode. Brought up some amazing points there, especially pertaining to the power process and just putting your mind in the right place and not being focused on the junk. I think that's the problem out there, is people get naturally overwhelmed by focusing on too many things. And sometimes you just need to be focusing or reallocate your attention to the right things instead of trying to focus on everything. And I think a lot of us as entrepreneurs and business owners find ourselves in ruts quite often because we find it hard to balance that out. So definitely go and check out James Elliott and his process over there, the NLP and the power process. Well, thanks again, everybody, for listening. Thank you for watching.
the Merged Marketing Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your go-to podcast channel and give us a review. Love to hear what you think. Thanks a lot, everybody. Don't settle for good. Be great. Have a good one.